We are halfway through the year, and I can almost guarantee you have not looked at your insurance policy since January, or even at all. But whatever your excuse may be, there are changes in life, like an increase in income, or you may have added a driver, finished a home project, or grown your business. But what about your policy? It's probably exactly the same way it was 12 months ago. And that gap between your real life and your paperwork is exactly where the coverage problems start. But bear with me and stay until the end, because I'm going to walk you through a 15-minute mid-year review that could save you from a denied claim or a wasted premium. So let's get started. Now that you know what is at stake, let's talk about what this review actually is and why the middle of the year matters more than people think. Today, I want to talk about something simple, but something almost nobody does, which is a mid-year policy check-in. Most people only think about their insurance once a year, at renewal, and only because a bill showed up in the mailbox. But life does not wait for your renewal date. Life changes in March. It changes in June. It changes the week after your daughter gets her driver's license or the month you finally pay off your car. This applies to homeowners, drivers, business owners, landlords, and really anyone who has a policy sitting in a drawer they have not opened since they signed it. So let's talk about why the middle of the year specifically matters and what tends to slip through the cracks without you ever noticing. See, a lot of the changes that affect your coverage happen quietly. You do not get a notification when your home's replacement cost goes up because lumber prices increase. You do not get a reminder when your teenager starts driving your car more than you do. You do not get a pop-up on your phone when your business added a new piece of equipment or brought on a new employee. Insurance companies build policies around a snapshot of your life at one moment in time. If your life has moved and your policy has not, that gap is where claims get denied or underpaid. With that in mind, let's get into the actual review, because this really can be done in about 15 minutes if you know what to check. Here are the areas to check. First, your drivers and vehicles. Has anyone new started driving your vehicles? Has your mileage changed because of a new job or a move? Small details like this affect both your premium and whether a claim gets paid correctly. Second, your home. Did you renovate a kitchen, finish a basement, or add a deck this year? Because in the end, your dwelling coverage needs to reflect the current value of your home, not the value when you bought the policy. If you underinsure the structure, you will absorb that gap during a claim event. Third, your business. Did you hire anyone? Did you add equipment, expand services, or start using a vehicle for work that used to be for personal use? See, business changes are one of the most common reasons a claim gets denied, simply because the policy never caught up to how the business actually operates at the present moment. Fourth, your beneficiaries. This one gets overlooked constantly. Marriage, divorce, a new child, the passing of a parent. All of these events should trigger a beneficiary review of your life insurance and retirement accounts. A beneficiary form controls where that money goes, not a will. And fifth, your discounts. Are you still getting credit for everything you qualify for? For example, bundled policies, safe driver programs, home security systems, or paid-off loans. Discounts can fall off a policy without you or I as the agent ever noticing. Let me show you what happens when one of these areas gets missed. Because this is not just theory, I have seen this play out with real clients. For example, I worked with a family who added a home office and a small storage building in their backyard during the spring. It felt like a minor project to them, nothing worth mentioning. They did not think to call and update their policy. Later that year, a storm caused damage to that storage building. When the claim was filed, the adjuster asked when the structure was added. Because it was never reported, the claim process became far more complicated than it needed to be, and part of the value was left unprotected. A 15-minute phone call in the spring would have closed that gap before it ever became a problem. So let's turn that lesson into something practical you can actually do this week. I want you to actually do this and not just think about it. Set a recurring reminder for the middle of the year, not the same as your renewal date. When that reminder hits, pull up your policies and ask yourself these questions. When you think about auto insurance, has anyone in my household started or stopped driving? When you look at home insurance, have I made any changes to my home or property? For those who have a business, did you add people, equipment, or new activities? On the personal side, did you get married, divorced, have a child, or have a death in the family over the year? And lastly, look at the components of your policy. For example, are you still getting every discount you qualify for? In the end, if you answer yes to any of those questions, that's your signal to call your agent and not wait until renewal. The biggest mistake I see is people treating their insurance review as a once-a-year event, which only happens because the bill arrived. Think of it like this. A mid-year check-in is not about finding reasons for you to spend more money. It's about actually uncovering savings, discovering outdated coverages, or discounts you stopped receiving without knowing it. Let's bring this all together with the one thing I want you to remember from today. The kicker is this: 15 minutes in the middle of the year can prevent a denied claim, an underpaid claim, or a beneficiary mistake that cannot be undone. Insurance works best when it reflects your real life, and your real life does not wait until January. Take 15 minutes this week, pull out your policies, and walk through that list. Now, if this content was helpful, place a thumbs up in the comment section. This really helps with engagement and assists with pushing out this video to others. Also, word of mouth is good too. So please share this content with someone who may benefit from this topic. Then check out my video library. I have information on home, auto, business, specialty insurance, and retirement. With all this being said, subscribe to my channel and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. But don't stop here. Check out my next video for more insurance and financial tips. And as I like to say, call Jay today.